Hey everybody, welcome to XZ Chat. I'm Serge.
I'm Rob.
I'm Gen Z.
I'm Gen X.
And today we're starting Halo Evolutions. So the first one we're going to be reacting to today is The Return. I'm pretty excited to show Rob this because this series, just like Halo Legends, is I think a really cool series of Halo media. Before we jump in, just some context, Halo Evolutions was actually, I think, two books, which were basically full of short stories. So for Halo Evolutions, what they did for the animated series, what they did is they took a few of those short stories, 4 of them to be exact, and they made them into like these animated episodes. They have a pretty unique animation style. It's kind of the best way I could describe it is kind of like an animated comic book, where you have like still images, but they have like simple animations where like you see like one kind of like moving across the screen or like pop out at you. So yeah, so it's kind of that style. You feeling ready?
Yeah. And so these 4 episodes make up these 2 volumes?
No. Each volume has like way more than that.
Oh, okay.
So they unfortunately they only animated like a few select short stories out of those novels.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot more. Like for example, there's one called Dirt, which I really enjoyed from the books, but that one isn't an animated episode. So
yeah, I've been looking forward to this. So I know all of you have probably seen these at least a couple times, but I haven't yet. So I've been hearing about it.
Yeah.
Let's push that play button and start with the first one.
All right, here we go. And before we jump in, I'm gonna read the description to you because the person who uploaded this, they added a description that kind of gives you a little bit of context about what it's about. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing. So 2 volumes, lots of short stories. Are these? Do they take a linear approach? And are we starting with the very first story?
No, they're just like Halo Legends. They're like their own confined stories.
Gotcha.
So they're all kind of like their own
mutually
stories.
exclusive.
Right. Yeah. They all kind of have their own stories set in the universe.
So we can watch them in any order too. So
yeah. You can watch them in any order. For this, we're just gonna start with The Return.
Okay.
Ready?
Sounds good.
Oh, before I read the description, what do you think that it's gonna be about?
The return. Okay.
The return. Yeah.
So it's the return of me.
You.
I personified myself as 117.
You as Arbiter, or you as Master Chief?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was both, wasn't I? It's a return of Master Chief, and I think he's going to be a surprise. It's like he's back.
So you're taking the homecoming route, like the Halo Legends homecoming, where that Spartan revisited their homeworld in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna read it so you can the description so you'll see what it's about.
So tell me, okay.
Yeah, I'll give you some general context and then we'll jump in. Set 6 years after the end of the Human Covenant War, a Sangheili shipmaster returns to the glass colony of Kolo in order to find forgiveness for his sins. He ventures lonely through the remains of the colony, occasionally remembering the glorious days of when he interrogated a human pilot and glassed the colony, as well as the sadder days of the Covenant Civil War. So this is pretty interesting. It's essentially like, as it says here, it's the Sangheili shipmaster, it's the one who attained a really high rank, and he's revisiting a human world that he genocided. Because when you glass a world, you like burn the surface and you kill everybody. So he's basically he's come back as like a way of like trying to find answers, like forgiveness for what he's done. After his eyes have been opened, obviously, because he did all that in the name of like the Covenant. Serving under the prophets,
the lies of the prophets. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But this is now taking place way after like the Civil War happened and everything. So now he knows that everything that all those that he killed under like the wrong. He did so while fighting for the wrong side.
Wrong pretense, completely.
Right.
Yeah. Quick question on this. So, it's one we haven't met yet. It's not the Arbiter then.
No, I think it's just it doesn't specify who that shipmaster is.
Okay.
It's not the Arbiter. No. So. Ready?
Interesting. Yeah, I'm really interested, especially after this description here. So the return, it makes sense.
The return. Yep, he's returning to a world that he decimated. So, ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Look at all those casings. suppose.
Yeah, we get a view of the full invasion on the planet originally.
And that's glassing right there.
Yep.
This planet is buried in war. And I know, for so long I've known how every soldier here dies, how every battle here ends. But I don't know who won. My people were the chosen ones. We enforced the will of our prophets, the holy seers who led our great covenant of believers along the path to transcendence, the path to the great journey. From the day I could stand, I was trained to fight. In a lake like this, I was watched by the prophets as I fought and learned and won. Not all were strong enough to serve our gods, but I was. It had always been this way for the Covenant, and it would always remain so, or so I once thought. Years ago we fought here, and for a short time the humans resisted us. Their victories were few and costly. Some evidence of their struggle still remains, but not much. It didn't matter how hard they fought. It didn't matter at all. Our power and our belief were unstoppable. So I don't notice the bones beneath my feet anymore. They're just part of the dull, dead gray that surrounds me. My path is set. That smoke on the horizon is the only other thing on this world that didn't die 20 years ago. And so that is the only beacon I have. I know what I must cross before I reach the source of the smoke. My path will take me across the ruin of this world called Kolo, and straight to the great scar burnt into Kolo by our fury and faith. Its creation covered this world in flames. It was the end of everything here. And it was put there by one ship, one hand alone. It was put there by me. This world is dead because of me. And now I need this world to tell me how to live.
He's definitely revisiting sort of the demons of his past.
Right, yeah. Pretty heavy, right?
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago, when our war against the humans raged, I discovered this planet through a human ship I captured. As my reward for its discovery, the prophets tasked me with its ritual destruction. The fleet was gathered, and when we had bloodied the humans enough, my ship's prophet called to me, and the ceremony began. After a lifetime of anticipation and hours of prayer in orbit, finally, it was time. Speak, my prophet. And let the word destroy those who stand in the way of the great journey.
Faith. Destroy them with faith.
And so I did. In a trance-like state, I guided the plasma bombardment that seared our holy glyph for the word faith into the surface of the planet below. Wave of flame and wind destroyed everything around the lines of my glyph, and when it was complete, I knelt, waiting for the molten rock below to cool, and for the prophet to judge whether my actions had pleased our gods. They had. So my fleet drew lines of fire across the rest of this world as a lesson for those who dared stand before the might of the Covenant. My dreams of long-ago victories bring me nothing but pain today. So I will walk. I walked through the ruins of that day, seeing the human remnants get smaller and smaller as I approached the cut of my cliff down below. The destruction, the suffering was more complete at the point where my plasma burned the ground, as it was meant to be. Suffering was the proper journey for the non-believers. Night falls again, and I'm so close to the glassy black scar of my mark. I won't spend a night on that alien surface. I can't. I must find there.
Looking for shelter for the night.
With all these bones.
It's a fallout shelter.
Graveyard.
So many. Nobody wants to face it alone. The end of all you know. I didn't.
See? That's...
My men didn't either.
Look at this, just mass destruction everywhere.
Yep.
It was years after our great victory here that we faced our own destruction. The destruction not of our lives, but of our reason for living. We were scouting for humans when the message came in. I could not comprehend what I was seeing. Our betrayal by the prophets, the slaughter of our leaders, the death of the covenant. The prophets had tricked us, lied to us about the nature of the great journey itself. And when my people refused to swallow this lie, the prophets tried to strip us of everything we had. My men looked to me like they never had before, and I knew what I had to do. He knew I was coming.
Blasphemy! Filth! Who are you to strike a messenger of God?
I showed my crew what had come of our beliefs, and I hoped to focus them on what lay before us, starting with the only piece of that lie we had available to our rage. Betrayal! Our people have been betrayed by the prophets and their savage puppets. You have seen what they have done. How they have struck down our faith and our leaders. And you know what we must do in the face of such betrayal. Our war against these deceivers starts now. It was enough for them for a time. But vengeance can only fuel a people for so long. And we had done so much in the service of the prophets' lies. I had done so much, all of it lies. I had so much to answer for, from my service to their lies. So after all these years, I brought my ship back to this place of my greatest victory. Now, my greatest shame, to find a new purpose for my crew and my clan.
His crew is still with him.
And after weeks of searching, all I have found is that column of smoke calling to me from across the scar. That smoke is all I have now. That smoke is all I...
See something else?
He saw his reflection for a moment there. Oh, he hears gunfire.
I know that sound.
Not just any guns, human guns.
It can't be that they're fighting each other already.
For 6 years after the High Prophet died at the hands of our champion, the Arbiter, we hunted the deceiver.
Remember that moment?
Yeah.
Remember the moment when the Arbiter stabbed the Prophet?
The High Prophet died at the hands of our champion, the Arbiter. We hunted the deceivers and their allies. A beastly, violent lot the humans appropriately called brutes.
So they went and hunted them down.
Yep.
It was a terrible war. The prophets provided the brutes with powerful new weapons, hoping that they would in turn defend the prophets against our wrath. But when the prophets went into hiding, the lack of strong leadership allowed the brutes to revert to their savage natures, and they soon began to fight against each other. This lack of solidarity made them much easier prey. Some of my fellow commanders continue that fight even now, but not enough. After generations spent obeying the covenant and the words of the prophets, we no longer know how to find out what our gods want us to do. We don't know what our gods want at all. We have no scientist, no clergy, no law, and no reason to be. We risk extinction for the lack of a purpose, and that is why I came to this planet where I last felt the touch of those gods for guidance.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. He went back. If they're lacking purpose, he went back to that planet, and his purpose before was to annihilate humanity.
Yep.
But now he's going back, and it sounds like he's more in remorse, reflecting on what he did, realizing that everything he did was based on a lie, and not only a lie, but the ones who lied to him actually turned and began to slaughter his own people.
Exactly. Yeah. And what I find particularly interesting is not just him, his whole people. The elites, they all became like this militant faction. Like every single like elite is basically being was serving under the prophets. The prophets took care of all the guidance, and basically all the other stuff was outsourced. All the scientists, researchers, all that stuff. Their people, the elites and their people, basically just became military soldiers. Yeah. And so now they're completely lost. And it's interesting. He says that they face extinction because they have no scientists, they have no this, no that. All
they know is war.
All they know is war, and the thing is all they know is war and religion. And both those things, the guidance for those came from the prophets. But now that the prophets are proven a lie, they lost all their sense of purpose. And because of that, they ironically face extinction because they don't know what to do. Even though they're winning the war against the brutes, because the brutes, once the prophets went into hiding, the brutes became completely uncoordinated and they started fighting each other, which makes them easy targets. Now the elites don't know what to do.
Yeah, right. One thing he said, and it corroborates exactly what you said. They were warriors, and probably very esteemed warriors, because he mentioned from the moment he could stand, he was being trained.
Yeah. So. And did you see when he was like kind of, I guess, more of like a juvenile or young adult age, he was on a canoe. Probably not called a canoe in their culture, but it looked like a canoe, right? And he was fighting with using his staff against another elite, and they're both fighting to see who was going to be more worthy. And he knocked the other elite into the water, and that elite got pulled down and killed. So
he got pulled down and killed.
Yeah, they said that tentacle monster, like, it pulled that elite down. So whichever elite got knocked off during that session to prove themselves died. That was it. So only one of the two like apprentices who wanted to like become a warrior became actual warrior. And as it was showing us that scene, it was talking about how not all were worthy of serving their gods, the covenant, which one of ones who was not worthy was his opponent who fell and died.
Yeah.
And there's probably many cases like that.
Sure.
So
intense. Yeah. Let's go.
For the lack of a purpose, and that is why I came to this planet where I last felt the touch of those gods for guidance. Now my guidance is once again gone. I cannot return to my people without it. Jackals.
They were on the other side. So now they're enemies.
Not a lot of ammo.
Where are the humans?
He doesn't see them fighting back.
You just took out 3 jackals.
Yep. Jackals are very greedy. They're like pirates, so that these jackals might not be serving someone. They might just be greedy pirates looking for loot.
Why are these humans here? They never returned to the worlds we have cleansed. Why are they here now? He's too far gone to explain.
He's suffering in his...
The smoke came from this hole, but without the humans to question, it means nothing to me. More may be coming. Perhaps those who come next will be more. Wait. Faith. What do these humans have? An oracle? That hole, the digging, the smoke. You will live, human. There will be many questions for you in the days ahead, and I still remember how to get you humans to answer questions. You will help me find the oracle and all that it knows. Soon, I'll no longer need any prophets to speak to our gods. It is time for me to speak to them myself.
Oh, that can't be the end.
That is the end.
That is. Oh my gosh. Okay, so in the volume, is there like a part 2 short story on this? Because I want to know what happens next.
No, sadly.
Oh wow.
That
That was a good story.
Yeah.
But I want more.
Yeah, I love how intense like all the like verbiage is in this. Like the way he's describing, and it sounds really profound. A lot of the things that he says, and he's coming back to and like his greatest victory became his biggest shame.
Yeah.
And all these different things, and like the elites their whole race was like built on like the religion and honor, and they felt it's almost like they lost both with what happened. So
yeah, they lost their purpose. And when you think about the psychology of a people collectively, or a person who has no purpose, depression, desperation, vulnerability to do something usually pretty stupid. So I'm really curious now about, collectively where the elites are going to go with this now. And this was 6 years after the war.
that's
right?
what the description said. Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Though I think he mentioned.
We'll find out more.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if it said though in the episode itself, like 20 years ago was when this specific battle happened. On the planet, but yeah. So either way, it's way after, even after the Civil War happened, obviously, as you saw.
I like how it showed him going to avenge his experience with the prophet.
Yeah, that was a cool little flashback when he went and he dragged the prophet out in front of his crew.
Yeah.
But then what's interesting is there's this kind of solemn feel afterwards, after he did the speech and killed the prophet. He said that revenge can only fuel a people for so long, and so that still wasn't enough to find a new purpose for them. And I one moment I liked in this was when they showed that one fallout shelter or bunker where
all the bones,
and it even shows a flashback where the military was trying to evacuate all the civilians into that bunker for safety, and ended up not saving anyone.
Right.
But it's interesting because when he stumbled into there and he saw all the bones, he was in shock and he decided to just sleep outside rather than sleep within because it was too much to bear to see all the souls that he killed.
Yeah.
He basically genocided the planet. So.
Yeah, and that was just one bunker.
Yeah, exactly.
One shelter there. Yeah. It was. Yeah. So I like how the voice was very somber.
Yeah.
And the colors, of course, it was darker. It was kind of it was somber and depressing.
Bleak. The bleak colors.
Yeah. And I like that. I mean, not that anyone enjoys watching something depressing, but it tied into at least pulling me into that character more, seeing things more through his eyes as he was speaking.
Yeah, he has a great voice that really helps sell it, and it's kind of cool seeing the shipmaster. He has this whole fleet, but he chose to go on his own and go on foot and just walk rather than have the convenience of being driven somewhere.
Yeah,
and I think he said at one point, "So now I walk," or whatever.
He did. Yeah.
And I really love this because it's a very intellectually stimulating episode with everything that's being said and showed, and some of the other evolutions, I think all of them are great. So you'll enjoy the next ones we're gonna watch as well.
Good. There's one more thing I thought about too, and that is going back to his purpose. He lost his purpose, but as he was searching out where the smoke was coming from,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's going to save that human.
Yep.
I think he's found at least a temporary purpose. Let me save the human, extract from him the information that I need, and find out more of where the Oracle
Right,
is
because
located.
they
Now he's got a goal now. He's got something to move forward on.
yeah, because he saw amongst the like the luggage or like the crates that had like some documents. He saw that the humans had an image of the Oracle, aka a
Sparky.
monitor, like maybe Sparky, maybe a different one.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how now he has a new purpose, and the purpose is he's gonna be able to speak to his gods because directly, rather than having to go through the messenger, which was the prophets for so long. He's gonna be able to speak to
The Oracle.
directly.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
yeah, that is. The return. Yeah, the return.
The return.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was a good one. Yeah, I like this. And there's only 4. I would imagine it'd be a lot more just because of the several stories in the volumes. Or
Yeah.
do they come out with these periodically too?
Unfortunately, I don't think they're gonna come out with it anymore because these were all made a long time ago.
Oh, these are old. Okay.
Yeah, so I wish they would make more. I'd love to, if I got good at animating, to make some for the other stories that didn't have animations made for them. But that takes time and effort, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to do that anytime soon. But maybe someone else will. But with that being said,
That's a calling for those of you watching.
yeah. But for now, we'll move on to the next Halo evolutions. I think the next one we're gonna check out is Midnight in the Heart of the Midlothian.
Midlothian.
You remember?
Yes, that's a vessel.
Yep. So at the end of the prototype, remember at the end of the prototype?
Yeah, that's where they were going.
Yeah, they were going to link up with that ship.
Yeah.
So the next one is called Midnight in the Heart of Midlothian.
Okay. Good.
So
Definitely got to see that then. Let's play it.
yep. So with that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit notification bell icon to stay up to date on future videos. And see when the next video comes out, which will be our reaction to Midnight in the Heart of Midlothian.
Can't wait to see it myself.
All right, guys. Take care.
You just